Here's how you can create this beautiful splash effect in webflow by following these simple steps. So in this video, we're going to be talking about two ways to implement this. The first one is going to be using a simple website with a simple background. And the next one is going to be using a website that has a theme button that allows the user to change the theme of the website from light to dark mode, like this. So let's get started. First of all, we have this single VG project, and there's a couple of things that we need to talk about here. Inside of our body, we have a main element that's going to be holding all of our sections and other page content inside of it. And then we have a HTML embed that's going to be having a class of canvas outer. And we are going to be using this class later, so make sure to use this same class. And this class needs to have a couple of styles for it. So it needs to have a 100 view width for its width and 100% for its height. It also needs to have a position fixed and all of its left, top, and right variables set to 0%, and it needs to have a z-index of -1 so that it stays behind every other content and element that we put inside of our main element. We also need to be adding some custom code to the page by going over here. So all of these codes, you can find them in the description below. They will be inside of a GitHub repository where you can find them. We're going to be using these styles that we can find them inside of our style.css right here. And yeah, we're going to use this. We're going to just copy this and paste them over here inside of a style tag in the inside head tag section. And we're going to be copying our custom code and pasting it over here. So this custom code right here is minimized because we have to minimize our code before we can use them in webflow, because there's a character limit in webflow and we can't exceed that character limit. So for example, if I just copy and paste all my code directly into webflow, it's not going to allow me. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't let me. But if I minify it by using an odd apps or software or websites that allow me to minify my code like this one, I'm able to use the minify code. Well, like this. Script, another script tag, and then I can just paste it in there. So yeah, after that's done, just hit publish, and then you can see the website working like this. And here's the thing. And whenever we load the page, it's gonna look looking like this. So that's it for a website with a simple background. Then we're gonna be having a website with a theme change button where we have multiple themes that we can switch between. So this one's gonna be very similar. The main difference is that now we have a theme button that has a class of theme button. Now this class is very important, and it does matter what class we're using here. So if you do want to use a different class for it, you have to also change this in your code. So right here in my theme.js file, which is the one that we're going to be using the JavaScript for it in our theme one, we're using the theme button class right here. So if we change this, for example, to something like theme button 2, then we need to also change it over here to theme button 2. Right, but I don't want to do that right now, so I'm just not gonna. But if you do change it over here, you also need to change it in your custom code for it to work properly. Yeah, so we have that over there. Our CSS is gonna be the same. Our canvas outer is the exact same. This custom code instead of our canvas outer is the same as this one, and this one will also be in the description below, so you don't have to worry about it. Again, inside of our custom code, we have the code for it right here, which I just copied this one from the theme and then put it inside of a website that allows me to minify it and then use the minified code. So yeah, once we do these things, we can just save and hit the publish button. And I should talk about a variable that's being used here. So if you come over to our variables tab, we can see we have this theme variable that's storing the background color for our website, essentially for our body tag, so for our body elements. And I've selected this dark color for it, and every time we click on this, we're running this interaction on our webflow side, which says, change theme on tab. This just simply changes the background color from the dark color to the lighter one, like this one. You can choose whatever color you want, and then we have another one on a second click that's going to change it back to the original color. So yeah, that's how that works. And here on the website we can see it's in action. It's using these colors. So that's like how you can basically get it running very quickly in just a few seconds or just a few clicks by just copy and pasting these codes from our GitHub into your own website and creating this, canvas outer element code embedded with these code inside of it. Now let's talk about how you can change this and customize it for your own web project and websites and webflow projects. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the background and how we can change the actual background that our effect is being applied on top of. So pay attention to how we do this one. First of all, I'm going to start with the single background one. I'm going to come over here onto theme.js, and I'm going to come over here onto the config variable over here on line 40. And I'm going to find this, theme, for the single one. We're going to be using the new single, we're going to be using this one on line 34. We're going to scroll down and we can find it right here. This is back color. This is going to be the background color. And I'm setting this R and G and B values to 0. Now, if you don't know what RGB are, these are basically going to let us decide what color is going to be used for the background. So if we set them all to 0, it's going to give us a completely dark background. If we set it to, for example, set all of these to 255, 255, 255, it's going to be giving us a completely white background. And anything that's in between those is going to be giving us another color, basically, anything else. And if we change these values right here, it's going to be changed in our single background. So if I set these to 50, let's just set them all to 50, and then I just copy all of this code. I paste it in any website that lets me minify code. I hit minify, I hit copy to clipboard, come over here and go to page settings, scroll down, just delete these like so, and then paste it in there. Once my website is published, I can reload it, and now it's using the new background. It's not completely dark anymore. It has a more gray background color, and you can change that value as you want to get a different background color. And the same thing applies for the theme one, but it's a bit more complicated. I'm gonna talk about that one when I get to it. So how do I change my actual color that's being displayed here, the actual splash color itself? How do I change that one? Well, there's a function here that allows us to do that. Let me just find it real quick. Okay, we have this generate color. Okay, we have this generate color function instead of a new single.js file under line 1540, where we're basically giving it the color that's going to be used. Now, again, we're just using the RGB system here, which is in 197, 252, and 252 again. If we change this value right here, don't worry about this. This one's just, don't worry about why it's being divided by 255. Okay, just focus on this one. These numbers are what matters. If we change these numbers right here, then the actual splash effect that's being splashed on the screen is going to change as well. So I'm choosing a very high values, which is going to be closer to 1. If I choose lower values, then they're going to be closer to 0, and you get a different color for it. Same thing applies with the theme one. Let me just copy this function name and find it here. Okay, this one's on line 1568, and it's gonna be using these values. So if it's checking if the the theme is in black mode or dark mode, it's gonna be using these values, the lighter values for the splash. And if it's in white mode / light mode, it's gonna be using these values for the splash. So for the theme, as far as changing the background, it's going to be a bit different, and here's how it works. All you need to worry about is these colors right here that I've selected for you. You can just change these colors. This is white and black, and all you have to do is just change the the black ones R, G, and B values, and it's gonna change the background color for that. And then you just do the same thing for the light mode or white mode. You just choose the background color right here, and it's gonna be shown in your website. It's gonna be used as that background color, and that's it. If you want to know how it works, it basically just copies these values right here and uses it inside of actual code to figure out what to do with it and where to use it. It's like checking if it's white, use this one, if it's black, use this one. Yeah, so just change these values and it's gonna work. So that's how you mess around with the backgrounds. There is some other things that we need to talk about. So for example, if you want to make it so that hold on, if you want to make it so that the colors are just random, you can just use the code right here. Let me just find the generate colors here. Generate color function. This is the script one. This is the original script from the person that made this code for this effect, and this is their GitHub repository. I'm gonna be leaving this link for this one in the description as well. And yeah, it's sort of like this. I just copied this code and changed it a little bit to create our own version of it. But right here I can just copy the section that's creating the colors for it like this. I just can there we go. We can just copy this code right here, or just the whole function even, why not, and just put it inside of our, where's our generate color. Yeah, if you just replace this function with this one, then it's going to be creating random colors, and it's going to be using those random colors instead of using exact colors, static colors basically. So if we do that, it's going to look like this, where it's just showing a bunch of random colors whenever I'm moving around and splashing. And another thing is that if you want to change how your actual splash effect looks, because you can clearly see it's a lot softer here, it's a lot more crazy and over the top here. You can just mess around with these values over here on the top, and then just copy any value that you want once you've done messing around with it inside of the config variable. So this is the config variable right here. It is here's the values, and all these values are the same as these ones, right? So you can just change these and mess around with them, and you can see them down there. So for example, this is vorticity. I can just change this to, for example, 10, and see how it looks. And if I like this, I can just change this value right here when I find it. Okay, there we go. Vorticity inside of our config file. Config variable. Okay, I think this one's being, but basically you get the point. I just change this curl and other variables. Like for example, if I change the curl over here, intensity, weight. Okay, this is background color. If I change this background color right here to, for example, like this, and if I like this, I can just copy this like red value and paste it over here. For example, in my background color, if I can just use this one instead if I want, but I'm just gonna set it back to 0 again. And then that's gonna, once you copy and paste it in the project and publish it, it's gonna be using that red new color. So that's how you can mess around with it. And the original script will be in the GitHub, and the link to the original GitHub will also be in the description, so don't worry about that. And yeah, another thing is that in the original website slash project, it's using a click, so it doesn't work with mouse hover. It works for mouse click. So I have to click it on my page for it to work. But in our version, it doesn't do that. The way that works is because this one's using different event listeners. So event listeners, this one's using key down event listeners and touch end and touch move and touch start and mouse up, but we're for example in our theme or this one are using touch and touch move or touch start. We're not using any where is it, key down. We're not using key down, for example. We're not using anything that requires our user to click on the page. We're not using mouse down. We're instead using like mouse move, mouse over instead of mouse down. So it works on hover instead of clicking on the actual page and dragging the effect for it to work. So that's it. If you have any questions left, just let me know in the comment section below. Or if you want us to add this effect to your website, just let us know and we'll help you customize it and add it to your website if you have any problems with implementing it. And I hope this video helped you, and thank you for watching.